Good morning, everybody. This is Roger Thunder with the Red Road Channel. Well, today I'm going to continue on with the drone topic, which isn't drones at all, like I said before. It's phenomenon that can't be explained, and sightings in the skies that defy logic, basically. See, that's what the problem with you people, or I won't say you people, I'll just say people in general. The problem with them is this. They want an explanation. They want an explanation, and they want a scientific explanation, or they want a rational explanation as to what the orbs and drones and... Now, you can't blame them, really. Because when you get an event like this, there's going to be all kinds of questions that do arise, and that's normal. But in order to make sense of this, as I have said in the past about the Star Nation and the reams or volumes of information, suggesting that this has been going on a long time, and it has been around a long time, and nothing new here, people. It's just the frequency of it, the frequency of the appearance is what you have to look at here. Now, there's a lot of people that are just dyed-in-the-wool skeptics, cynics, again, coming from the scientific point of view. Is it science? Is it? Can you figure this out by some type of explanation, like there's thousands of satellites and we're seeing satellites, or we're seeing this, or we're seeing that? They miss the point. The point is communication. The point is, until you trash that idea, that belief system, you're not going to understand or see anything, because the ones that are on that level won't let you see until at some point there's some type of mass, and I mean supermass. It's massive now, but there's just so much happening that you can't ignore it. That will be for the skeptics, okay? Oh, the skeptics, they want to say all kinds of things. Now, science, okay, and spirituality, let's look at things like Einstein's, equations, and other people that have come up with instances that are so far out that nobody else thought of them. Well, why do you think it came to those people? Because they had an open mind. Their consciousness was in a different place. So they discovered things which were labeled science. But it's not really science. Basically, science is just scratching the surface. Let me repeat that. Science is just scratching the surface of the unknown. And there's good examples of this. Let's say you go to your acupuncturist and you want to get a treatment, and you know how that works. There's meridians in the body, and they're energy meridians, and you use needles and you tap into these energy meridians to either tonify or sedate them. The energy meridians are called meridians, all right? That's exactly what they're called. And these meridians, or these like little streams, okay, that go throughout the whole body, cannot be seen by science, science can't figure it out. Oh, there's nothing there. Basically, that's Western science, where Chinese medicine goes back millennium and is more natural and in tune with the body. So It is known that these meridians are there by thousands of years of medical treatment, but yet science has yet to say, oh, that's an acupuncture meridian, or that's, a flow of energy to a certain source point on the body, and you have source points all over your body. My point here is that if you come to it from a scientific point of view where it has to be proven to use science, you're going to be waiting a long time, brother. You're going to be waiting a long time. You're not going to see it in this lifetime. Your mind has to be open and has to be on another level of consciousness, an alternate reality. Being able to see things beyond, let's say, pushing the envelope is a good pilot term for that. You have to push the envelope. And what does that mean, pushing the envelope? It means getting rid of all preconceived belief systems in regards to anything that you've been taught or been exposed to. Because where do those belief systems come from? From other people. They come from other people. And where did those people get those belief systems? From other people. So nothing is original. Nothing is, your original awareness or original connection with Great Spirit and the Spirit that moves in all things. So in order to comprehend what's going on with the phenomena, you have to become phenomena yourself. You have to be open to communication. Because if something appears on your doorstep, then you obviously probably need to answer the door. And what does that mean? Well, answering the door means opening up your mind. Now, in real life, if somebody came to your doorstep and you'd open the door and talk to them, wouldn't you? Well, you have to do the same thing. When something appears to you, you have to open up your mind, throw out all self-imposed limitations, which are really those imposed by others, because everything you learn is from others, and if there's any limitations, it's the limitations that are actually imposed by others on your psyche. Let's get this straight. So anyway, as far as the mundane world going on out there, nothing. Let me update you on the supposed UAP phenomena and the people that are involved in the UFO community and the ufologists and everything that's going on. I mentioned Stephen Greer, and I mentioned Ross Coulthart, and I mentioned that they were going to have a reveal or they were going to have a program. Well, Ross has already had his, which aired Saturday night on News Nation, and it was about, you should actually just go watch it and judge for yourself, but it's about an insider, high tier level operative that was a helicopter pilot that was, given the orders to go pick up retrieved craft, and there's photos in there, a video of him coming down and picking up an egg-shaped object and all this good stuff. Now, the thing that I really got out of that video, and you would have to watch it, but the thing that rang a bell with me is that this high-tier operator, this commando, this military-minded, hardcore, let's say Navy SEAL type, Delta Force type person, was in the helicopter and moving something around that he was ordered to move around at this particular time. I think it was a box, some square box hanging from a tether. But when he went in to get this particular box and move it. He had an experience, okay? He had a spiritual experience, and he describes it on there as some kind of overwhelming, loving force or entity or energy that surrounded him while he was flying, and so much so that he could barely keep his mind on track as far as flying the helicopter and that type of thing goes. And it was just overwhelming. And he also said it was very feminine. Matter of fact, he went so far as to say that that feminine energy, he used the word possessed him. But it was not something that was unenjoyable. It was very enjoyable. In fact, he makes the point of that it changed his life forever, completely, the way he looked at the world in general. Now, that was the part that was supposed to be looked at more than, oh, there's a guy doing this and he's getting an alien craft and it looks like an egg and he's got credentials and yes, I'm sure all that is correct. But that's not the point that you want to take away from this particular show. And other members of like the same type of commando, Delta Force, high tier guys that were with him also felt it and also had the same experience. But he also says he got sick too. Now the sickness to me was from whatever he was carrying. It wasn't from the entity that was trying to protect him. Now, what could that entity have been? Well, it's a consciousness that I've spoken about many times. The earth consciousness, or Sophia, or Unsi Maka in Lakota tradition, is a consciousness, as is, so is the sky. Now, if you turn the sky and put it on the earth, and you put the earth up in the sky, you're going to find out that really it's all the same. What is sky? What is down there? What is up there? When the planet is hurtling through space, and sometimes it's you're upside down, and sometimes you're right side up. But what is right side up and upside down? So it's all one. The cosmos is all one, and it's one consciousness. The Star Brothers is a consciousness that cannot be divided from the consciousness of Mother Earth. So you have the possibility to have appearances of spiritual entities, either from the earth or from the cosmos, or both, or they go both places, or there is no place they can't go. That's the reality of it. It's a consciousness, it's a frequency, it's a force field. Maybe people will understand that. A field, basically it's like a field, a cosmic field, an etheric field. That's another thing that science is just now starting to scratch the surface and admit that there's ether. And by ether I mean the space that things arise out of. Okay, the awareness, the energy, same place the chi is, same place that the energy is that goes in the acupuncture meridians. These people are like babes in the wood, or woods. So let me get back for a minute here. My mind's just kind of wandering today, and that's a good thing always, because it means I'm outside the envelope, and that's good. But let's get back to the big failure now. This failure of this big reveal by these people. Well, it didn't make that much of a dent on anything. That thing by Ross was good, and it was really good, but you can't satisfy people. They'll beg and beg and beg for some kind of revelation, and then when they get it, it's like a big disappointment, or they're disappointed because they expected something else, like, like aliens coming down and landing on your front lawn in a disc or an orb or a round craft or whatever. They want to see that, people are the most impatient sons of bitches on the earth, I'm telling you. They get a gift and then they reject it, so that's really kind of funny. That says a lot about their approach to this whole situation, scientific or, being cynical or questioning everything. Well, yeah, okay, go ahead and question everything. But at a point, you have to get to a point in your spirituality where you question things, but you allow for things. You don't question so much that you feel like it, it's not there when it is. So the Stephen Greer thing didn't really pan out either, or he hasn't come out yet. He said he was going to come out within 72 hours, and just all kinds of weird stuff happening. Talk shows that would make you think that maybe this is it, this is the reveal, or this is the disclosure, or this is the breaking news that's just going to knock your socks off. That hasn't happened. Nobody's socks have been knocked off. Now let's go over and talk about the government and Trump for a minute. Trump is like a deer in the headlights. He's like a deer in the headlights. He has no clue. He is completely clueless. Or he is the biggest liar and bullshitter on the face of the earth. One of the two. Can't be anything but one of those two. He's either a liar or he's just doesn't know. Is clueless, is on a whole nother need-to-know basis or pay grade or whatever you want to call it. But when he was asked, when he was signing the executive orders in the Oval Office, and he was asked point blank, what about the drones? You were going to tell us about the drones on your first day. And he goes, oh yeah, the drones. And then he turns to some aide, Susie or somebody, and says, yeah, let's look into that. Let's look into that drone thing. Let's find out what that's all about. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, you're saying that somebody that's president, commander-in-chief, head of the supposedly biggest, best nation on earth, comes into office and he's not brief as to whether there's any kind of critical situation that is happening at the moment, like hundreds of drones hovering over military bases and shutting down airstrips, and they're just all over the place. And he's going to sit there like a deer in the headlights and say, oh, Susie, will you look into that for me? What is wrong with that picture? What's wrong with that picture? Does it take a rocket scientist? No pun intended. Does it take an Einstein to figure out that, of course, if a president's coming in and he's got all these appointments and generals and staffing and handoff of the two different administrations and all that stuff, nobody's going to say a word, excuse me, about any kind of massive drone thing. God forbid we got more important things to talk about, like signing 100 executive orders and the border and the this and the that. That's just not believable. And if you believe something like that, I kind of feel sorry for you. It's like time for you to freaking wake up. So that's where we are with this. Everything's still happening. People are reporting things, and people are talking things, and there's endless ad nauseum, yak, 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 and look at this and look at that. I will say the world is definitely going through a shift. I felt a major shift just in my aura, in my presence, and actually things that have been happening to me with this latest planetary alignment and the comet coming in and things of that nature. And people that are sensitive, or people that are empaths, or people that are shamanistic, it's a curse in a way, because you feel it much more than a lot of people. Although if you ask people how were you feeling that day, or if you say, did anything in particular, any event in your life seem outrageously intense, then they might recall, oh yeah, wow, that day was a bitch, or whatever. So there is a huge shift going on right now on a cosmic level. And the appearance of these things and other things that are happening are evidence. If you're a good investigator, you look at evidence, right? So you got evidence everywhere. You got enough evidence to where it's like smacking you in the face, that type of evidence. You got wildfires. I got a friend that's on the front lines again. He came home for a while, and then he's back out again on the front lines. Matt. Hey, Matt, how you doing if you see this? Stay safe, brother. He's part of the prayer circle, the Red Road Prayer Circle, and indigenous thinking person. And there's fires springing up from one end of California to the other. So first you had the big LA fires, which are just horrendous, just wiping out major parts of LA. Then you got more LA fires. Then you got fires starting in San Diego, and fires starting in Santa Clarita, and fires starting in this place, and fires starting in that place, and fires starting at buildings, and fires starting in a group of cars next to buildings. Now, if we're talking evidence, you really got to look at the evidence here. Somebody has got a mind to completely torch California from one end to the other. Firestorm City, it's all over the place. It's being devastated. Now, here's an interesting thing. I was talking to my friend Matt, and he has this feed that he looks at, that he can look at or does look at, with different cameras on different mountains, and mountains that maybe are around fires, almost like a fire watch thing. They used to do it with towers in the old days with guys with binoculars, but now they got high-tech cameras that scan the area. So don't think they don't know what's going on. Well, in one of these scans, my friend sent me part of the scan of the mountains and where the fire erupted later on, and he asked me, what is this? And there is clearly what you would call an orb or a UFO or unidentified flying object, UAP, drone, whatever you want to call it. It's there, and I'm going to show you a picture of it real quick. Here's a picture, and you could see the pole here. It looks like some kind of weather station or device or enclosure from where this camera's coming from here. Can you see anything in that picture? Let's say before I even blow it up. Can you see anything in that picture that looks out of place? Well, let's zoom in. That is it. Right there. And then you have a fire spring up here in the background. Now, am I saying that this orb started the fire? No, that's not what I'm saying. Hell, this orb, this could have been down there looking for the guys or preventing other factions from space or energy beam weapons or whatever, but it is there. Okay? Plain as day. And this is a successive camera, boom, 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 slide after slide after slide. So I went through, since I was skilled at photography and developing and all that kind of stuff, graphics, I went through and I zoomed in on this, and you could see right there without even enhancing it, which I have enhanced it, and I'll show you that in a minute. But you could see right there that there is some type of black circle around what I describe, and you'll see soon here, 3 orbs, and there's also lighting around it. Okay, so now let's go to the other close-in picture. This is a closer-in picture, as close as I can get into it on this computer. And I have a photo program that basically what it does is I can enhance the photo by doing certain things like not changing anything in it except the brightness of it, the contrast of it, the sharpness of it, the clarity of it, taking out pixelation, things of that nature, and that's exactly what I did. This is the best I could do with this photo at the time. But here you could see a bluish hue around this object. And over here, barely noticeable, is kind of a reddish glow with an aura. It's definitely got some type of aura or energy field, illumination, whatever you want to call it. And then still, as much as I tried, I couldn't get out the pixelation. And so the pixelation comes about in square forms, little squares. And so you could see, now I'm looking at this and I'm saying this is round and this is round in the middle and this is round over here. And there's 3 round orbs within the 3, whatever is enclosing it. And it's got the energy field there. So that is plain as day. What this black field is here, I'm not sure, but it seems like there's maybe that's part of the craft or part of well, we don't know, but I accept it. Now, back to the future, because this is the future from what just went before. So anyway, that's very interesting. I'm finding this very interesting, this whole series of fires. Excuse me. This whole series of fires going off, and that's not the only thing that's going on around the world. There's volcanic eruptions and there's all kinds of stuff going on in the cosmos, super flares, not super flares, but larger flares with the sun, sunspots, effects on the ionosphere and the magnetosphere and the Van Allen belts, radiation belts, and all these kind of things are like in flux right now to the extreme. And we're being bombarded on Earth. And let's remember, anytime, we are all the same thing. When you look at, and there's been an increase in lightning strikes and electricity. Basically, one person describes it, a very knowledgeable person, as the electrification of the globe, the electrification of the planet, or just the cosmos. It's just becoming electrified. And you might feel this seriously as far as like having tension, things not seemingly correct, or accidents, or events, or so you got the moon and the sun and the comets, and they're all interacting, and you got Mars that is like a conjunct, I think, pretty close to the moon, and you got continual CMEs, magnetic storms that are hitting the Earth right now, and then you have the alignment of the planets, and you got a bunch of stuff going on right now that, let's face it, just the moon affects the tides, and let's face it, your body is electric. It's known. Everything is electric. Atoms, molecules, your pineal gland. Your whole body is electrified and in tune with the magnetosphere and the Earth and the solar system, and you just can't be apart from it. So this is all going to affect you. And by all accounts, it seems to be getting more intense. Okay. Now, here's another thing that I want to just comment on briefly, is that I think I've talked about it before, but why not? This 40,000 satellites around the freaking Earth is got to go. Okay, because that's part of, when you put 40,000 satellites with pieces of metal and wire and electronics and wavelengths and that a type of thing up around the Earth like a web, like the Hopis speak of the web. Well, they thought it was not them, but other people thought that they meant roads and highways, and then electrical lines, as time progressed, and then pretty soon it was like, well, is it the internet? But now you got the web around the world. You got the web around the world with these pesky thousands and thousands of satellites. If you looked at them, that you could hardly see the Earth, can hardly see the planet. What is this doing to the magnetosphere? What is this doing to to the interaction between the cosmos and the sun and moon and Mother Earth? What is all that junk for? It's certainly not for communication, as they said, as they lied through their teeth and said before. As a pilot, I can tell you that you can't, back in the old days, we could fly off GPS, which was 3 satellites, and we could triangulate anywhere on the Earth and cover the whole Earth wherever we went. So why would you need 40,000 or 50,000 up there? Obviously, they're not telling you something, right? And what is it that they're not telling you? What's the big secret here? And I don't know if I mentioned this in my last video, but this Starlink thing is out of control, and Musk is questionable, and one of his rockets just blew into 1 million pieces and scattered down through the sky in certain southern states, almost hitting pilots and coming right near aircraft and everything. And I have a sneaking suspicion that didn't just explode, it was shot down. There's something going on here. And when I say shot down or brought down, just exploded, the Star Nation can do that. The higher intelligence can do that. If there's something going on that is not kosher, they can do that. Okay, just like I said before, they could shapeshift and take over things and do this and that. What consciousness can do is unfathomable. Let's say your consciousness is, let's take the consciousness of your body or your individual being. If you want to do something, you want to go in the kitchen, or you want to go here, you want to go there, and operate in this soup, this etheric realm, and manifest things and unmanifest things, which we do every day. If you think we can do that, what do you think that the higher intelligence, the supreme intelligence, the unified force field can do? anything it wants within the context of our reality or another dimension or this dimension. It can talk to, it can communicate, it can do anything it wants to. Cause appearances, like painting a picture with a paintbrush. Yeah, I'll paint something over here, something over there, orb over here, cause this to happen, cause that to happen. The supreme intelligence is what you have to tap into and try to discern whether you're in alignment with it. And that's what's so beautiful about the indigenous nation, the indigenous people of this land, is that they were in tune with the cosmos. And they were in tune with the frequency and the consciousness and the mentalism, the mental, of the universe. The mind. The mind is all is in the mind. That's a Hermetic principle. So, I think I've kind of covered everything enough for today on that subject, and we'll keep you informed on that and other things as time goes on here. But it seems like every time I look at anything, we're moving at light speed right now, people. We're literally, there's a quickening going on here. So stay tuned, literally, and stay on the red road. Subscribe to my Substack, which will be in the show notes, so that you can support this channel through a paid subscription, or if you don't want to do that, you can get a free one. You just don't get as much stuff. So anyway, I'll leave it there and humbly say, Wopila, thank you for listening, and aho.